What is going on, everybody? This is Audible Sportscast. Alright, we got Brett and Jeff here today. How's it going, Brett?
Good.
Good. And before we begin, I just want to congratulate the Chicago Sky, last week, winning the WNBA championship. I don't know if any of you watched some of the games, but there's some electric endings in some of them.
I did not. I knew they won, but I did not see any of it.
Oh yeah, you got to respect some of those players. I mean, Candace Parker, the GOAT when it comes to WNBA. So
well, I think all of them could beat me and you. So
oh, definitely. I mean,
or you and I. I apologize.
Luckily, it's not a grammar show. It's a sports show. So let's talk some sports. Let's talk some football. We're finally in week 7, almost halfway done with the regular season. A lot of these teams are starting to really take their form. Still some, not really knowing what we're going to see from them. But let's look at some of these games. Week 6 for our picks. Some of us did pretty good. Some of us maybe not so good. I went 8-6. Brett, you went 9-5. Cody, once again, leading the way at 10-4. Something tells me he's a little bit better at this than us.
Yeah.
But sometimes sometimes it's a little bit of just luck. But not saying he got lucky. But
yeah, it's debatable.
Oh yeah. But speaking of games and if we find them lucky or not, let's talk about some of the games coming up this week. We got Thursday night football game, a very, very fun one, mostly because we have no idea what's going to happen because of all the injuries. We got the Denver Broncos coming into Cleveland to face the Browns, a very injured Cleveland Browns team, I believe. 3 or 4 starters on offense alone aren't playing. So,
I don't have much faith in the Broncos, though. Not really.
I mean, I don't really either, but at the same time, do you have any faith in the Browns with kind of how they are injury-wise?
I think that even with injuries, they're still a more talented team.
I mean, Case Keenum might be a revenge game. He played with Denver a little bit not too long ago.
I just don't think their offense is... Denver has much on offense at all.
It's got a few things, Melvin Gordon, Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant.
Do those names... Well, I'll leave Noah Fant out of that, what I was going to say, but do those two names make you excited? Because they don't make me.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like
plus...
hear them maybe years ago for one of them.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon when in San Diego, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and plus Cleveland still has... I mean, Case Keenum, he's one of those backup quarterbacks they have. He has Jarvis Landry. He's activated, and Odell Beckham Jr. to throw to, so it's not like they're completely empty.
Yeah,
I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones, their tight ends.
Case Keenum's had some good games over the years.
I mean, he has one of the greatest football highlights of the last 10 years.
I'm going to go Cleveland. I knew that from the jump.
I kind of go back and forth on this, but I'm gonna go Denver here.
Oh, in Fanduel you trust, huh?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I'm necessarily trusting anyone in this game, but I'm gonna go Denver. I want to see how Cleveland's gonna play with all these injuries. I know Kevin Stefanski, their head coach, is an amazing play caller, so I kind of want to see what's gonna happen now that he's down his quarterback, his top 2 running backs. So we'll see. But next up, we got the Washington football team heading into Green Bay to play the Green Bay Packers.
Is there much question on this game?
Yeah, I mean, Washington at times kind of shows themselves, or not themselves, but shows some, possibility. But, I mean, it's Green Bay. Us Bears fans know that they own us, and they own a lot of the other NFC teams.
Yeah, I mean, I still would go Packers. I just don't see Washington being able to do it.
Yeah, I gotta go Green Bay here. I don't see any other way of it kind of going. I mean, Green Bay secondary is still kind of messed up, and maybe Heineke and Terry McLaurin, my bad, gets in a rhythm. But yeah, Green Bay's just
I don't think they can score with Rodgers, score for score if they had to.
I mean, that defense, though, for Washington did look a lot better. I mean, they were getting to Mahomes a lot, made Mahomes do some very silly things in that first half.
Yeah, but he's been doing silly things all year. So.
That's true. Aaron, after week one, really hasn't been. But at the same time, that offensive line has been struggling. I mean, Chicago right now leads the NFL in sacks, but they still had a lot of troubles getting with pressure. So I don't know. That'll be a big thing to watch out for this game. How Packers offensive line plays against Washington's D line, because I mean, potentially there could be some problems. But yeah, Green Bay's got this one. Next up, we got a game that after Monday night probably wasn't going to be much question, but now it kind of is. We got the Kansas City Chiefs heading into Nashville to play the Titans.
I mean, any given Sunday, of course, but I actually think I'm going to stick with Tennessee only because even though they're the less flashy of the two teams, in my opinion, they're the more consistent team. You know what you're going to get with them, to an extent.
You're going to get 40 carries with Derrick Henry.
It's just, no, they're not a super big passing team. They just aren't.
But I mean, when healthy, they can technically. I mean, Julio's still Julio.
I know, but I think they're very good at doing both, in the aspect of it's very balanced. Sorry, that was what I should have said.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Tennessee's defense step up a little bit. I mean, yeah, they played very well against Buffalo at times, but at the same time, Buffalo was kind of passing all over the place against them, which, Mahomes loves to do when he's not doing kind of these silly things he's have been doing.
Is Buffalo's offense better than Kansas City's? Yeah.
How it's played this year, I would have to say yes, but and Buffalo's, I'll go with you with Tennessee too. It's the home team. I think I might ride Derrick Henry the rest of the year until he kind of proves me otherwise. And when Derrick Henry goes big, Tennessee normally wins.
That's true. Given a few rare circumstances.
A few, yes. Let's move on to another game. Probably one of the not so fun ones to look at this week. But some interesting looks from it, considering how one of these teams will potentially have been traded a quarterback within the next week or so. We have the Atlanta Falcons heading into Miami to play the Dolphins.
Well, given all the Watson rumors, currently they're just rumors until something's on paper.
True.
So, I think it's Atlanta's game to win.
Yeah, I agree. Miami's just too much of a mess right now. While Atlanta itself is a mess as well, but I mean, whenever you have these rumors coming out that your teams,
they're like the same team they always were.
Yeah.
If they can outscore the other team, they win.
Yeah, and it looks like they'll be a little bit more healthy than they were
in London.
What,
even when people would say they had good defenses, no, that's just. I feel like that's what they did when they were a playoff-bound team every year for a couple of years. They just scored a ton of points.
Plus Dan Quinn, a good defensive coordinator.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say they ever had a really good defense, stat-wise.
No, they had some playmakers, but yeah, definitely stat-wise. I mean, Desmond Trufant was a lockdown corner for a while. Keanu Neal, when he was healthy, was a pretty good safety, but he could never stay healthy.
I don't like to spend a lot of time talking about games like this one.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I mean, yeah, Falcons, there's just too much rumors going around in Miami about the quarterback situation. So, hey, who knows? Maybe that'll fire up Tua and he'll have an amazing game and the rumors will go away.
Tua's going to, if they get Watson, he's probably going back to Houston. Or going
maybe.
To Houston, I mean.
I've heard reports maybe he goes to Washington or Denver. There's a lot up in the air, especially with there not being a lot of quarterbacks in this draft, at least as of right now. I mean, the number one overall pick, who supposedly number one overall pick, now is questioned if he'll go in the transfer portal. Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma. So there's a lot of big question marks with some of these quarterbacks and teams looking for their future quarterbacks.
When there's only like one or two, I feel like their stock is less.
Well,
supply and demand.
Yeah, exactly. Low supply and price is going to go up. Just simple as that. But let's move on to the next game. We got a fun little AFC East showdown. We got the Jets of New York heading to Boston to take on the New England Patriots. While this Patriots team is 2-4, their last couple of games they've looked somewhat. I mean, besides letting Houston kind of take an early lead on them a couple weeks ago, they've looked pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going through some growing pains in certain spots.
And that's what you're going to get when you have a rookie quarterback. No matter if it's his fault or not. It just seems like all these teams with rookie quarterbacks, have a growing pain somewhere. And with Jacksonville, maybe.
One could say he looks better right now than Fields at this moment in time.
I mean, just about everybody's saying he's looking like the best rookie quarterback right now, playing. Now, whether that's, he is the best, that's still to be determined.
He's got the most structured system around him.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, he's pretty much doing what Tom Brady did when he was there, just hasn't worked out as much.
Yep.
But, I mean,
I'm going New England.
Yeah, the Jets are just too much of a, for lack of better words, a shit show. Just that with the, talent on the team. And, like I said, New England's been playing fairly well. They almost beat a really hot Cowboys team. So
they just went back and forth.
Oh, yeah, that last, 5-6 minutes of that game, or however long.
Turnover.
Well, not even the turnovers, too, but, after Mac Jones threw that pick six to Trayvon Diggs, he went out and very next play threw a long touchdown while it was maybe some bad a defensive blown play. It just...
Oh, you mean the guy who got burnt was the guy who pick sixed it?
Yeah, he's still probably just a little tired.
I mean, it's hard to pick some of these teams. Like, I don't know how much I could ever say the Jets are going to win a game.
Yeah, it's hard it's been hard to say they're going to win a game the last 6, 7 years.
Put Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, and they're a 4-win team.
In that division maybe, but I don't know.
That's living in a what if world, so we're not in a what if world.
Yeah, exactly. We're in this world, and in this world, we're moving on to the next game. And that next game, speaking of games that are hard to pick, somewhat, we have the Carolina Panthers heading into New York to play the Giants. After doing a little bit of research, it's this Panthers team is very similar to many of the ones in the past. They start out very hot, and then they start going on a losing streak, and ended up having a losing season.
Yeah,
I was just going to say now, how is this team going to be the same? Is it going to reflect upon itself the last couple losses, losing some close ones and not so close ones?
Well, the big question for me is, do you trust the Giants more than the Panthers? Because I don't.
I mean, that's a good point. I don't, especially without. They're still pretty injured.
It's a tough one for me. I guess everyone in New York State, I feel bad for you as a football fan.
I mean, they got Buffalo.
Oh yeah.
That's actually the only team in New York. When you consider that the Giants and Jets both play in New Jersey.
I know. But there is no New Jersey team, so.
This game will be played in New Jersey, and you know what? I'll go with the Panthers here.
Yeah, I'm going with the Panthers.
They might. Let's see them have a bounce back game. I mean, Giants are just too injured. I'd like to see maybe what Sam Darnold can do.
I don't think they have tons of talent on the defensive side of the ball at all.
They have some. I mean, Bradbury the last 2 years. James Bradbury, the corners look nice. Jabril Peppers makes plays. Leonard Williams.
But I could take a couple players in Carolina, and they, in my opinion, they're way better.
Yeah, but sometimes you need it's more than that. But
I know. I'm just saying but I base it on trust. Daniel Jones is, at this moment in time, I trust Sam Darnold more than I trust him still. So
yeah, yeah. Especially with at least the healthy weapons he has, even without Christian McCaffrey. But let's move on to the next game.
Yep.
a very big division game in the AFC North. We have the Cincinnati Bengals heading to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Now,
I don't
even
know
though
why.
this Baltimore team has been very injured, it's currently sitting atop the AFC.
I have no faith in Baltimore, and I've never really liked Baltimore too much. So over the years, I'm
Even
not a
after
Baltimore.
the win they just had against the Chargers, blowing them out.
I just Chargers are young in a couple positions, so what matters? And I don't think Lamar Jackson's that great. So I'm gonna go Cincy. I think they have one of the best defenses in the league right now, statistically, and they can only that's Cleveland's going to have issues paying people, and Cincy's only going to get better through the draft. That's my opinion. So I think they're the better team in this game, but I think they're the front runners in that division going forward.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with you on the front runners going forward, but I think just the way the Ravens have been playing, I gotta go Baltimore here, especially at home.
Latavius Murray, we trust. Is
In
that what you're telling
Latavius
me?
Murray, Devonta Freeman, Le'Veon Bell, who you could put me in that backfield and I'd trust that
Did they
team.
go to the retirement home?
I mean, they must have gave them the retirees some
Oh, they got
some of
some guys
Michael's
there.
juice or something. Or not Michael. What's it called in Space Jam? Michael's. Um, you
We'll
get the
just say,
reference.
yeah, we'll just say Michael's drank.
Yeah, you get the reference. But I'm gonna go Baltimore. Just after that kind of statement win against San Diego, especially at home, I don't know. It'll be a fun game. I think Bengals will definitely put up a lot of points. At least they
I mean,
should.
if Baltimore was a healthy team, I would have picked them whether I like them or not. But to me, I mean, Cincinnati to me is playing well above their means.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes those teams do something, when they do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a big game for both these teams. It can definitely help kind of shape where they go the rest of the season, especially with the injuries Cleveland's having, Pittsburgh. Who knows what Pittsburgh really is? um,
No
but
comment.
yeah, well, not much to comment on it. But let's move on to a different game. We got the Philadelphia Eagles heading to Vegas. And who are they playing in Vegas? They're playing the Raiders. What do you think about this game?
I'm not real high in Oakland, but I'm higher on them than I am the Eagles.
Oh yeah. I mean, Eagles, at times can look really well, and it'd help if they started running the ball maybe a little bit more. I know that's kind of been their struggle,
They
but
struggle in a lot of places.
oh yeah, definitely. But just after the way the Raiders played last week in that kind of head coach renewal game, I mean, maybe they keep that up.
Yeah, I mean, but Oakland's known to let us down in games like this too. So
Oh, definitely. That's why I'm honestly kind of skeptical on picking the Raiders. But who knows? Maybe with all that kind of Gruden stuff coming out, it'll be some new good luck for the entire franchise.
potentially,
Yeah, but we'll have to see how that goes.
yeah, it'll be. I mean, I think Oakland wins it by. I'm going to say 14 points, if not more,
You think it's going to be a two-score game?
at least. I just think, I don't know, but Philly's scored some points against some of the other good teams.
They
They don't even
started
have
out
faith in their
slow.
own quarterback. So
Yeah, and with the way I mean, I know the refs weren't maybe good in that Philly Tampa Bay game, but he missed a lot of key throws early that I would really like to see him hit, because if he were to hit some of those throws, they could easily beat Tampa Bay.
any given Sunday,
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, Next game we talk about any given Sunday, but I give zero chance to one of these teams. We have almost zero chance. I know you keep picking them to finally get their first win, but we have the Detroit Lions heading to the LA to face their old quarterback in Matt Stafford and the Rams.
as
Does
much as I want to say this is a Jared Goff revenge game, I can't.
It's physically impossible to say that. Just think
because
about what you just said.
Stafford's just as fired up playing Detroit, so I think Stafford's going to have a pretty good game.
I agree.
So I got to go Rams.
Oh yeah, it's hard not to go Rams here. I mean, this honestly, with how last year the Rams lost to the Jets when they were, I think, at a time when they were either winless or had one win. But that doesn't. This team feels a lot different. Key part Matt Stafford versus Jared Goff, and when you just look at those two by themselves without looking at the rest of the team, Matt Stafford's obviously the better player, and not to mention the Rams have a way better team.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, the Detroit team's kind of stuck in a couple games. I mean, as of recent, not so much.
Problem is, a lot of teams, and this isn't just the Rams, sometimes they play down thinking they have the game.
No, and it seemed like it was that way last week against the Giants, but then they woke up and took that team to it was a blowout. But,
so Rams too?
Yeah, I got to go on the Rams here. Yeah, maybe check in on the Lions next week for their first win. I mean, who knows? Maybe they get it here.
Well, these last 5 games we have, including the Lions-Rams game, I think there's 3 blowout games.
Potentially three. I could see one of those games that you call a blowout going either way. But we'll see. Next, but let's look at one of these games that I know you think is going to be a blowout. We have the 1-5 Houston Texans going in to Arizona to play the undefeated Arizona Cardinals. Now,
you can't vote against Arizona right now.
You can't. You really can't. They're playing lights out on really all sides of the ball. But, it comes to a point is how long can they keep it up even against a bad team? How much can they put faith into it?
If Houston had some more talent on the offensive side of the ball, I'd say they have a shot.
Or any side.
They don't.
Yeah. It's hard to be faithful on this Houston team.
They're working with the CFL team, kind of, against the pro teams.
Not
Not that bad, but it's not far off.
Well, here's a quick question for you. Since we just talked about both these teams, who wins, Houston, or who would win in this game, Houston or Detroit?
I mean, the lowest rated game in NFL history, probably.
I think it'd be a pretty high rated one, considering both these teams aren't that good. I think Detroit would win.
Mean all the people who are betting on the game would watch? Yeah. If you're asking me that, I would say Detroit only because they seem to be a little more fired up, but that just sounds like it. But going back to the game we were discussing, yeah, I don't think there's any. I think everyone except for the couple people that are betting small amounts of money on some of the sports sites, say Fanduel or some of the sports books, you'd be crazy not to pick Arizona.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been picking the Texans the last couple weeks to try to cover in some of these games because they have ridiculous, spreads. But there's a reason why there's these ridiculous spreads because these teams are, they're getting blown out a lot of times.
Yep.
But yeah, Cardinals definitely have this one in the bag at home. Keep their undefeated season for another week. Next up, we have a rematch from a Thursday night football game from last year where a certain team made the GOAT, Tom Brady, confused what down it was near the end of the game. We got the Chicago Bears heading into Tampa to play the Bucs.
I want to say the Bears, but I even can't pick them in this game.
I can't.
We have literally the worst offense in the NFL right now, so
correct.
Houston puts up more stat yards than us. I think our defense, if we were putting up more offensive yards and scoring more points, taking away some of the clock, I feel like our defense, it might lead the league in sacks, but we would have a lot better stat lines on defense.
Oh yeah, I mean the defense can only hold for so long. It's going to get very tired, and you kind of see that in some of these games over the past several years. Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like there's not much to talk about this game. Tampa Bay's really the clear, but then again, Chicago did have an upset against the Raiders. So who knows? I mean, that was a horrible week for the Raiders. That's a horrible example.
Even
That
if Tom
was.
Brady has a really, really bad game, it's
I
still a
think
two
Blaine Gabbert
touchdown.
could start that game.
It's
The
still a
Tampa
two
Bay's buck
touchdown,
to
two
backup.
interception game. They still win with him.
Oh yeah. I mean, it
We
might
can
be.
barely, we can barely win with a two touchdown, no interception, 120-yard game by Fields. So
Yeah, but
just
I mean, Tampa has too many weapons for
yeah,
our secondary to cover. So yeah, Tampa by a mile.
might be surprised though. But I think the Bears hang in there maybe for a couple 2 quarters.
I give them 5 minutes after the first drive's over.
Yeah,
But
we'll see.
yeah, next up we got the Sunday night football game. We have Indianapolis Colts heading to the Bay Area. Now, which Bay Area? We got San Francisco Bay Area. We got the San Francisco 49ers on prime time. Both these teams kind of underperforming, so to say. I mean, Carson Wentz has looked really nice, but he's also been one of the most high pressured quarterbacks going against defense that likes to pressure the quarterback, with Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead and company. What do you think about the game?
Well, I think just like the homies population in San Francisco, the Colts are gonna, just come into town and pop up a tent and make it their home.
I mean,
It's
it,
only because Trey Lance is still figuring stuff out. The Niners are in flux right now, and the Colts aren't as much.
thing that kind of worries me is kind of how there's been a lot of injuries the last couple of weeks with the Colts. They've been, on the defensive side. I think it will be a good game. I think it will be a still low scoring game maybe, but I think a game like this it comes down to like head coaches, and when you look at the Colts with Reich and the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan, much rather have Shanahan. So I'm gonna go 49ers here.
We're all entitled to our own opinion, so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think?
Oh, I think it's the Colts for sure.
Okay.
I just think that the Niners to Trey Lance are just kind of bleh. Not saying he'll be bad. He just needs some more time.
Oh, definitely. The thing that does worry me though is that 49ers secondary, kind of like very thin, and with what I've said about Carson Wentz, they're going to be slinging it. So that does kind of worry me when I'm considering taking the 49ers, but
Yeah, it could go either way though.
it definitely could. But
One game left.
we got the final game, we got the Monday Night Football game, and I believe the Manning cast even coming back for this game, which
I like him, but I get distracted. So
yeah, but then when you listen to the other announcers, there's a reason you don't get distracted, at least by them. You get distracted the fact that they're not so good. If
no,
that
I just get distracted by the extra stuff on the side of the screen, and I don't watch the game.
well, pay more attention. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but anyway, we got the Saints coming into Seattle to play the Seahawks. The Saints haven't been performing that well. Seahawks are injured. I think this is a tough game to pick.
Yeah, I mean, but based on the injuries and stuff, I think I'd rather just watch the Mannings than this game. So,
That's what I was gonna say.
I don't know. I'll give the Saints the advantage, or I'll pick them just because technically points scored against in the NFL they have given up the least,
And
and Russell Wilson's out, so
they have also over the last several years been one of the better run defenses. And if you watch the Sunday night game, Seahawks Steelers, that's really what kept the Seahawks in the game was running the ball. So it'd be nice to see how the Saints, respond to that. I'm gonna go with you and take the Saints.
I mean, could you ever say in Geno Smith we trust?
And maybe a coin toss. He was pretty good at those when the Seahawks would go into overtime.
That's about it. That's a 50-50 shot. That's why.
Exactly. This doesn't feel like a 50-50 shot whatsoever.
No. Not at all.
I mean, yeah, I gotta go Saints here. I mean, I haven't been that impressed though with the Saints offense. Um, I could see this being somewhat of a low scoring game. I don't know what the over unders are on uh, points. I've been seeing it in the low 40s. But maybe depending what number you guys get, maybe this be one you take the under on. I don't
Yeah,
know. Uh,
possibly.
be careful when you bet. Bet responsibly. But
We do not condone or are affiliated with any sports books or gambling services.
thank you, legal advisor Brett. But yeah, I'll go Saints here. I'd
Yep,
like to see
Saints
maybe
as well.
I'd like to see Geno Smith not be playing. I've heard Russell Wilson's on a very good track to come back early. Now, will it be early enough to save the Seahawks season? I don't know. With the way the NFC's already kind of taken form, a lot of the high teams. We got Packers. I mean, the Cardinals in their own division haven't lost a game yet. Tampa Bay. So I don't know. Geno Smith is going to have to win them games like this if they want to stay in the race.
Yep.
But that's all the games. Let's move on to our next segment, our Add a Legend that we're continuing. And for those of you who don't know what that is, we look at all the NFL teams and we look into their past for a player that might help them play a lot better for some of these teams that have no chance to win the Super Bowl, or these gives them a chance to win the Super Bowl. And we just look at players who have played for them in their prime or in some form of a prime, maybe more on prime later.
And I actually switched mine just now in my head.
Okay, well let's get to that
I
in a
was
second.
revamping a little bit in my head. So.
Just remember they have to be retired, and they had to have played at least 4 years on the team.
Oh yeah.
But knowing that, who do you have for the
I'm
Dallas
gonna,
Cowboys?
we
I
had,
should probably say that.
Before we did the show, we had discussed a little bit, just throwing ideas out there, and I actually went to offense. I'm going to pick Jason Witten.
Oh, really?
I think just based on the few games I've seen this year, he does it. None of their like Lamb and Cooper.
CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper.
They're not standing out. They're not. I mean, they're not bad, but they don't have a tight end presence that's amazing. And Cedric Wilson seems to be his red zone target, where we all know Jason Witten fills that spot really well. So.
Oh yeah, I mean him and Tony Romo have I believe they're top 3 when it comes to.
I mean, even him and Dak had a good relationship, but I'm not basing it off that. I'm just saying, yeah, he was very good at finding open holes in the zone and sitting down there.
Oh yeah,
and catching the ball.
Many consider him like a top 5, if not top 3 even. I mean, I don't know what kind of list people are making, but they consider him one of the better tight ends of all time, and having a good tight end presence, especially on a offense that's already really good, just adds another dimension to them, especially in the red zone.
Yep.
A team that has the weapons it does, passing the ball. I mean, Dak can run it himself. He can make any throw, but to add, I mean, yeah, they do have decently good tight ends, and Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin.
Though.
But yeah, they're not standout. They're not Jason Witten's. And
nope.
Imagine a play action pass to Ezekiel Elliott, get all the safeties coming down, and then just popping off to Jason Witten for a touchdown.
Yeah, I just kind of I was thinking there has to be somebody else, and it just popped in my head like a minute ago, and I just feel like that, given the Cowboys' current team, I think that would help them the most.
I mean, yeah, that'd be a fun offense to watch. I mean, it already is fun, but it'd be even more fun.
Who do you have?
I keep going back and forth on 2 guys. One part of me thinks, especially after DeMarcus Lawrence went down, they need some more pass rush. But Randy Gregory's been playing pretty well, and I know Micah Parsons at time, their rookie from time to time, pass rushes a lot. I think he actually leads all rookies in pass rush pressures. I'm not 100% sure on that, but after watching that Patriots game against the Cowboys, they that long touchdown that we talked about earlier with the interception, a certain guy I don't think would ever let that happen. And I know I've
Michael
talked about
Jordan?
him before.
I'm just kidding.
Who'd you say?
I said Michael Jordan. I was kidding.
Oh, nah. I mean, wrong sport. First off, maybe we'll talk about him in
That was a joke.
in a couple weeks. But you know, in when the Cowboys start playing in a lot more primetime games, you need a primetime player. And I know I said this before, but there's no one more primetime than primetime Neon Dion Sanders himself. And I know I picked him for the Falcons, but I'm gonna use him again because he fits the rules that we made within this. And I think, yeah, I mean, Trayvon Diggs is looking like a really nice corner for them, but he's given up a lot of yards. And I feel like if you were to add someone like Deion Sanders, that would help him immensely.
Or would it expose him? It's tough to say. But
It is tough to say.
We'll never be able to know. Never be able to know.
No, but maybe that lets Deion take a lot more of the number ones, and he gets to attack more of the number twos, and lets him maybe get some less of the situations they put him in. But who knows? I feel like that'd be a fun defense to watch. I mean,
yeah, it would be. Very exciting.
That defense has definitely taken a lot of steps forward this year, and I don't know. I mean, it's always fun watching Deion play. I mean, I know I wasn't around for much of his playing career, but
oh yeah, he's always been exciting.
Oh yeah, I mean, they don't call him prime time for anything.
Nope.
But that's all we have for you guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Yes, smash it all day and all night. But yeah, make sure you like it, subscribe, hit the bell notification on YouTube. If you're listening on any podcast services, make sure to subscribe or follow on those. Give us some feedback. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what we're doing wrong. And yeah, just follow our social medias: Instagram, Audible Sportscast, Twitter, Audible SC. Join the Facebook group if you want, Audible Sportscast. And yeah, just give us some feedback. If you want to come on, talk sports, debate, whatever you want, come on, do it. No one has yet, but hey, we're going to be doing some different stuff here. If anyone wants to. Oh yeah, there's always a first time for everything. But that's all we got. Have a good one, everybody.